Hello, and welcome back to the Kerbal Space program. My name is WW Dadman, but you already know that, and we are going home to Kerbin with our little Minus exploration mission that we did on the side. Cause we needed some science anyway, so yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and go for a direct landing. We could also slingshot ourselves out of the system, or use the moon as a way to slow down. What's that? 93? 46, that's actually fine. What's that? 487, that's above everything that I would assume would be useful. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that idea. Multiple moon encounters just take way longer without getting us anything. We have more than enough fuel. Like, this thing is completely over-engineered for what it was supposed to do. We could do another moon landing with this on top of already having done the Minmus mission. Just gonna go for like 27. Get out of the sphere of influence of Minmus. Close alarm. I like that this is still click-through, even though I have a click-through blocker mod and everything uses it. Fuck's sake. Anyway, we have a periapsis of 27 kilometers, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say, give me a maneuver here so I can easily warp down there. Hello, Kerbin. Close the alarm on pause. Actually turn around. I do not actually have these set to anything, so I'm going to just inflate them manually. Hello? I also think I have enough electric charge to last for a lifetime, so once we're down towards the atmosphere, gonna go ahead and retract my panels. I said retract. So I'm pretty sure I'll not need to do anything else other than just trigger my parachutes. And everything else will be done by drag. I have no idea why this wants to flip. But, I mean, I can... try making that a little bit less of a thing by saying out out, making these tanks heavier and therefore the heaviest part of the ship more towards those shields. It's about as far down as I can get it to go. Since we are landing on land, I am going to deflate those shields. And get out the landing legs. Really? I refuse to believe that that is what happened. Mm-mm. When was the last quick save I dropped? I refuse for that to happen. So first of all, get the balance to go down there. Stop. Oh, stop. In there. Okay, so that's about as far down as I can get these. Also, apparently, I need the rogues to be in their own stage, because that way I can make sure that these don't, like, that I only trigger these once the others are already deployed. Even in full burn mode, I can't really do anything to the 13 meters a second. I'm just... Okay. Everything survived. Everything is fine. Was a little bit of a bumpy landing, but we have the full thing back. That's better. I always underestimate how much the fucking giant heat shields actually do in slowing shit down. Anyway. That's 1,000 science. And that's our contracts done. So let's see. Explore Ike. Dude, I literally already have been to Ike. Transfer any crew between vessels near Ike. Why? Like, why would I do that? Feria VIP to the moon. No, thank you. Atmospheric flight on Duna. What the hell? Surface of Minmus. I literally just came back from Minmus. No. 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 Supreme Moon 4. Land on the moon, land on Ike, land on Duna, lastly land your vessel on Kerbal. I find that a little bit too much. Uh... Yeah. Not really going to do any of this. So... instead, we are going to take our science and use it. As I said, we want this next for the Jool mission. So we're going to start with the high altitude flight. We're going to unlock this for the aerospike and the shock intake and everything that's in here, and the whiplash, which is all super nice stuff, but we need this, the Rapier engine, for the spaceplane we're going to build for Lathe, since Lathe does have an atmosphere with oxygen, so we can use jet engines. So we can use an SSTO water landing plane, which is something I always wanted to do and never actually got to do, because whenever I went and tried to do that, I never got around to actually having an SSTO that can even land. Like, I'm going to build the SSTO so it can go from Kerbal to orbit. Then we're going to refuel it in orbit, and then we're just going to deorbit it on Lathe, land it there in the water, and come back from the water of Lathe back to orbit of Lathe. And then take it back to Kerbal and land back here. Maybe even on the runway. I'd definitely try to get it on the runway, because that's the easiest place to land on. But yeah, in general, I'll need to design that, and that's going to be most of what we're going to do until the other ships are back, or at, like, I mean, I'm going to definitely get, I'll have to get 1,000 more science, which is basically the Duna mission, the dress mission. So once that's back, we're going to start designing that, and then until the Jool window comes up, we're going to have our lander. What else do we want here, though? Wings? The Probodobodine Cube. These are really good to have, actually. Also, fuel cell, nah. If anything, I'd want that, and that is all the way up at the 1,000 mark, so I can't even afford anything else. I just realized. So I guess once we're back from dress, we're going to afford this, and then we'll see if we can afford anything else. But yeah, generally, I think we have everything else that we need. Not that. Administrative building. You know, did I ever upgrade you? That's actually the only building that's not fully upgraded, right? Okay. I'm gonna upgrade that real quick, because I have no reason not to. So what we're going to do is we're gonna take 5% of reputation gains and get science for each 2,500. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot of not getting science for a whole lot of reputation. Like, where are we here? We get 1 reputation for funds. That's way better. We can go all the way to 93%. Yields 1 reputation. No. The other way around. Yields funds for each unit of reputation. Yields 1 reputation for each funds. Yeah, that. And 5,000 funds is not a lot. No, 1 science if anything else. There. Takes 5% of fund incomes, yields 1 science for every 12 aid. That's also not a lot. These don't do much, do they? For every 12,000 funds, I get 1 science. And it only takes 5% of my funds. That makes no sense to have. These strategies are garbage. This stuff is complete absolute garbage. Everything in here is absolute fucking garbage. Why do these even exist? Like, those are not at all useful. Anyway. Because honestly, I could, with 3.5 million in my bank account here, I could just take like 50% of my monetary gains through contracts and world first stuff and just convert that into science. But it always only takes 5%. And that's a rate that's completely useless. 1 science for every 12,000, that makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Anyway, so the next thing that's going to happen is the Duna Kerbin window in 1 year. I'd really like to build more stuff, but I mean, we can build the other Jool mission parts. Because we're basically going to just stick these to the back of each other and tug them over to Jool. We're going to have 1 giant nuclear powered transfer engine that will take everything over. With 1 big capsule on top where all of our Kerbals are in, basically. Because for that mission, I'd definitely take both crews. So also, I'd definitely land everywhere with a double crew. So let's see. I mean, we're going to have to build the tug eventually based on how the landers look, right? So we're going to start with the easiest landers. Those are gonna be the landers for Bull and Bob, because those are basically the same lander. Those are gonna be the same lander. That's a two people module, right? Crew capacity 2, yeah. So I feel like using this for the small landers. This nicely enough has oxidizer and stuff on it, which isn't too useful, but it also has RCS on it, as you see, and it does have the RCS thingies already on it, so that's very, very useful. Not that big. That is huge. What the hell? If anything, you're gonna put that down here, but just so it actually has a little bit of control over itself. Also, we need to build that so it frickin' can hold the docking port anyway, so might as well have that like this and have the docking port on top of that. Like, do we have coupling? Do we have a shielded docking port? Do we have that yet? Clampatron inline? No. That's the Clampatron Senior. If anything, I'd like... The inline docking port is really not something I'd like to use a lot, because that's not going to work with what I'm trying to do. What I really... That's this next inline docking port that I don't want to use. What I really want is the shielded docking port, because I'll definitely need that for the... for the... plane. I also have no idea how I'm going to fit docking ports on everything, so it... Well, actually, that's pretty easy. For landers, that's pretty easy, yeah. I'm just not gonna put the one engine in the middle, but multiple engines around. So yeah, basically, how much... Let me see, if I just... around here put... a engine plate with a 5 cluster and 5 spark engines, 4 spark engines, excuse me, and the normal clampatron in the middle. Docking. That should work. How much delta V do you have? 700. I don't think that's quite enough to do what I want to do, but if I like add a little bit, tiny bit of fuel, like just a Dragon fuel tank. Oops. That's the wrong size. That's an RCS tank. That's the wrong size. Yeah. Like, that's 2000 delta V. That even on around Kerbin, that has a 1.5 thrust to weight. That this can actually take off on Kerbin, so this has more than enough to land on Bob or Pole. So medium short is definitely enough for this. What I want here is a decoupler and a hex, basically, I guess. Because what we're gonna do is we're going to make this the thing that we shoot into orbit, basically. Yeah. Oh, it totally doesn't have any science on it. We're gonna have to change that. But that's not going to be of any concern, really. Cause we're just gonna... Utility... No, science. Seismic accelerometer. Too hot thermometer. You're being weird. Yeah. Not that. We won't have an engineer, so Kerbal engineer. Barometer. And then a goo canister. Left and right. And do we have... Yes, the radial mounted. That is way too fucking big. Know what I think I'll do? That's the Science Junior, right? Yeah. Do that. Still got 2,400. This still can take off on Kerbin. What the hell? Now landing this back at Kerbin is going to be a little bit of a thing. So we're going to probably like bring up a big heat shield to put under that. And like probably air brakes to put up here. The thing is, these are easily dockable to that thing, and it's gonna work. So, I mean, also I can just... that should hold that in place. No, not that. Not more of that. I can also just attach some air... Those are big! What the fuck? Grid fins. Those are better. Those will also help with keeping this straight on re-entry. And then obviously this needs some little landing legs, because it is a lander. I think the normal landing struts are fine for this. Yeah. That's absolutely fine. And then the decoupler. Yes. We'll obviously want to shoot that up inside of a fairing, so that's a bit of a big fairing. Do we even have that big part? Like, do we have such big tanks? No. No. I do not have bigger tanks than this. Which I find really weird. Like, filter by cross section. 4 meter parts. Why does this not work? Why does this not work? That just straight up doesn't work. Okay, I broke the game. Yep, I broke the game. What the hell? How? How did I manage to do that? I can literally not change. Okay. Paul and Bob Landers are gonna be dead. Safe. Get out of here. Get back in and see if I can have that work again. I don't know what mod would fuck with that, but it definitely did. Okay. Okay, I can search. How about 4 meter? I don't have. So, again, if I say filter by cross section, why do you not do anything? Why does that break it? How does that make any sense? Also, just looking, I have everything up until the mammoth here. I basically, yeah, that's the next thing I need. The Kerbal tanks, the big ones. For building the rest of that. If I use that fairing, and I kind of wanna. Okay, good. Good to know. Yeah. So let's just design the landers. Which means basically that's Bob and Pole without any problems. We can attach the heat shield to this for re-entry only by shooting that up by itself. We can attach a parachute assembly up here, because I don't really see how I'm going to fit any chutes on here. Because, I mean, apart from like putting 2 rogues here or something. That's really all I can think of. Why is that? Okay. And how about you do that by itself? Yeah, that's really all I can think of doing. Those are going to get their own stage. That goes with the rest of this. And that's basically gonna be the Pole and Bob landers. Because I don't think I'll add anything else to that. That's really all that needs. And we're just gonna shoot that up with a, like, remote controlled part that docks it, because the main crew is gonna be staying, for the most part, in the other parts. Like, I'm going to fly up the SSTO for Lathe with either the Jab or the Valentina crew. Why do I only have... Oh, because we have a 3-man mission over on the original 3 are all in on the way to Dres. Yeah, but yeah, I'd fly up the SSTO with, let's say, Val and Samson, and I'll fly up the main tug unit, which will have a 4-person hub on top. Like, I don't know if we have a 4-person crew module, but we have a Mark II lander cannon. This doesn't really fit together, but the cupola, which both hold 2. Oh wait, that's 1. That's 2. That's 2. That's 2. Well, I can always just shoot up 1 in one of the landers. But for the most part, we're going to remote control the up shooting of these, and we're just going to, yeah, do that. But yeah, that's for Bob and Pole. Let's save that and then start a new one. For Val, we're obviously also gonna need a 2-man lander. So I'd like to take something a little bit less heavy. That or that. I mean, I'd like to take the least heavy one that we have for that's also 2-man capsule. Actually, we don't use this much, do we? So how about this one? Obviously, the lightest capsule is gonna go to frickin' Tylo, cause that obviously needs like vast amounts of. That's better. on top we need a docking port. Yeah. Then under that, I'm going to go ahead and say the smaller payload service bay. Yeah, no, not that one. I'd go with a bigger one. Mostly because you can get everything in there, but we can also just go with the smaller one. Cause you know, we can just put the... No, not the hitchhiker. Hello. Wrong thing. Science Junior. Mystery Goo. Obviously the thingy. Barometer. Seismometer. Thermometer. Close. Looks good. I totally forgot to put solar panel. Do we really need solar panels on these? They're going out to frickin' Jool. There's hardly any use in solar panels out there. We just, like, we have 1,000 electric charge on this. We have probably enough electric charge for one landing on the other one. I'm pretty sure we can land, do our science, and go back up without extra electricity. So we're not going to do any solar panels. We're going to put the really big ones on the main ship, because we can this way recharge these. But yeah, that's gonna be the wall lander. Obviously from here I need wall. Wall doesn't have an atmosphere, so we don't need to care about that. We will rock you? No. No. I hate that these are glitched in with the mods. It makes no sense. Like, why do I need to do this manually? Makes no sense. I'd go with black coloration on this. Yeah, that looks good. Then some four of these, 4 more tanks. And I'm pretty sure I can make this go the way it needs to. That's correct? No. Excuse me? Yeah, that's exactly where I want them. Okay. You also go dark. Um... $1.9 is not a lot. Poodle? That's the pug. That's also a pug. That's the poodle. $3.8. Also not a lot, but that's 3,000 delta V. Is 3,000 delta V enough? I also can get rid of Dissipator because nobody needs that. Is 3,000 delta V enough to land on Vol and come back? I mean, I guess we're going to see that in the next episode, since for today we're going to cut it here. And we're going to continue the building of these in the next one. Yeah. And then I'm also going in the next one to after we've built all of these, I'm definitely gonna go and time warp to the return window for Duna and to the encounters for the Dreslander. But I really want to get these designed because I'm in the mood to design stuff. First and foremost, though, and these get the boat tail. Yeah, that looks good. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Till then, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and until next time, I'm WWDadmin. Bye.